you have to be very careful of your friends that you pick. But when you're young, you don't pick your friends. Your friends are who you grew up with.
What story does your food tell us?
It tells you about a journey of, I guess of a family, of our journey to where we are today, mixed with hardship, religion, commitment. The food represents a culture, and it also represents, I would say something like that's not normal. Meaning halal Jamaican, people don't really put those two together. So we're trying to, provide the community with something new.
I can see that, especially with your social media, where you're killing it, right? It's so totally different. Your stuffed patties, right? I've never seen that ever in my life. I've just heard like regular Jamaican patties,
Right.
beef patties, all the sorts of stuff. But your stuffed patties, that is a brand new creation.
Well, to be fair, it's not my creation. So, growing up in my hood, there used to be a place that would sell patties, those regular microwave patties, and they would do that. They would stuff it with like lettuce, tomatoes, and stuff like that. And when you're a teenager and stuff, those were little go-to stuff that I used to. They never did it with the cocoa bread, so I did that part, but that's where I got the idea from. So it's not originally mine.
Yeah, but it's you're putting the oxtail in it. You're putting like all these different types.
Yeah, yeah.
But that has to be your idea.
Yeah, we put our twist on it. The plants and the coleslaw. But yeah, that's where I got it from.
What's your favorite toppings to put in your stuffed patties?
Probably would be cheese, lettuce, onion, tomato, mayonnaise. You know what I mean? The coleslaw and plantain goes hard too, because it gives a little sweet touch to it. But yeah, just different stuff.
What's the craziest creation you made?
As far as stuffed patty
Your
goes,
stuffed patty.
yeah, I mean, we keep it pretty simple because we don't like to overload it with too much stuff. You know what I mean? We want to try to make sure that you get the flavor of the patty. I've seen places where they do like mac and cheese and stuff like that. We don't do too many of stuff like that. So yeah, that's about it. Coleslaw, lettuce, tomato, onions, plantain. You know what I mean?
So
We also do a deluxe where we cut up jerk chicken, boneless jerk chicken, and we add that to it with some cheese and stuff. So that's a little twist.
it's all in-house, jerk chicken in-house, patties, everything,
Yeah,
start to finish is all
all
made
us.
by
That's right.
you.
Yeah, patties, authentic, handmade. Jerk chicken is my mom's recipe. Yeah, we make everything in house.
How many days did it take to start the patty till like the finished product?
It's a good question. It's a process. So the dough process takes at least a day because what we have to do is you gotta get butter and you have to freeze the butter. So that takes, for that kind of quantity, it takes at least 10 hours to freeze solid, right? And then once we make the dough, we have to let the dough sit in the fridge for another day. You know what I mean? And then we could start rolling it out. So that's just the dough. To make the meat is another process. You know what I mean? And since we make such large quantities of it, we have to make the meat cool before we can put it into the dough. So yeah, it takes at least 2 days to process.
Just start
Yeah,
from the start to that.
yeah, before you can get it to eat.
I'm scared to ask how long it takes to make your jerk chicken or your oxtail. I'm like that.
Well, the thing about the jerk chicken is we marinate it, and that marinates for at least 24 hours as well. You know what I mean? So I have a video coming out where we show the process a little bit about how we do our jerk chicken and stuff. So yeah, that's about it. The oxtail, I mean, my mom, she's pretty thorough with it. So, she could crush the oxtail in about an hour and a half. You know what I mean?
Just marinate it, make it,
Yeah.
or is it just like getting it into pieces?
No, you marinate it. Well, when we get it from the butcher, it's already cut up into pieces.
Okay.
So by seasoning it, marinating it, cooking it, you know what I mean?
Is there a certain type of oxtail that you guys go for, or
No,
it's
as
like
long as it's
whatever?
halal, that's all that matters. You know, the tail is pretty long, so throughout the tail there's different like thickness of the meat and stuff like that. But nonetheless, there's no specific type of tail that that we go for. Just oxtail.
I've seen that the main recipe that came from all that is from your grandma,
Right.
right?
So the patties come from my grandma. That's her
Okay.
recipe. The food is my mother's recipe.
Oh.
But I mean, it essentially comes from my grandmother. Anyways.
What makes her recipe just like amazing?
My grandmother's.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what, my grandma's very thorough with her recipes. She doesn't cut corners. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I guess it's just the way that she puts it together. You know what I mean? As far as the patties go, she sat me down and she showed me the process. And I think a lot of time it's more than just the recipe; it's the process that kind of makes yours different than others. You can use the same ingredients, but maybe the way you put it together is different than others. So I think that's more of it was the process. You know what I mean? She actually showed me the process, and that's what makes these patties so good. We've been getting a lot of good feedback.
Who started your business? Who was the first like to be in it at all?
So me, my mother, and my wife,
Okay.
we started it. We did. I want to say maybe in 2018, 2017, maybe we did a halal food fest. That was about Airport Road. So we did a halal food fest there. At that time, we had no restaurant or anything, but we were just doing street events to provide the community with authentic Jamaican food, and that's what kind of sparked the idea for the restaurant. We initially had a first restaurant that was called Rose's Halal Kitchen. Yeah. So and then after that, we opened up patty cake and ice cream.
So when your grandma sat you down and taught you about creating the patties, right? Was that the moment that knew that I'm gonna get into the food industry, or was it like later down the road? You're like at the fest, you're like, okay, let's try grandma's recipe and see how it goes.
So it's actually the other way around. I was into the food industry before my grandma gave me the recipe. So when we got into the food industry, when we did the halal food fest, I had no idea of making patties at that time. I had no intentions of making patties at the time. What happened was when I started Rose's Halal Kitchen, people would ask for, if we had halal patties, because along with jerk chicken, Jamaican patties are a staple with the Jamaican culture, you know what I mean? So when people come in, jerk chicken and patties are probably the most popular thing that represents the culture as far as food goes. So people would ask for it. So a customer of mine, he connected me with somebody that was already making them, where they were frozen kinds, and I would just warm them up and sell them and stuff like that. But when I got the ideas by the demand, I decided that I want to make my own, and that's when I turned to my grandmother, and she, gave me the recipe, showed me the process, and I said, all right, we're gonna move forward with it now.
When you started your business, right? Not this one, but it was a different one. Why did the name switch? Did you guys like switch up the whole thing, or?
Well, what happened was that this was supposed to be a patty shop. When I opened Patty Cake and Ice Cream, I had Roses still. Things didn't really work out over there for certain circumstances, but we had to close that one down. But the demand for the food was still there, so we brought the food with us to Patty Cake and Ice Cream, gave the people what they wanted, and it kind of just evolved. We got the fries, because at Rose Halal Kitchen we weren't doing fries, we were doing just authentic Jamaican cuisine. You know what I mean? So so that's how the name came about. We already had Roses, so I came up with a different name, and unfortunately we had to close down Roses, so we're here with Patty Cake now.
Patty cake, patty for the beef patties,
Yeah,
oxtail patties.
yeah.
The cake part?
So we do cakes. We sell cakes. We make cheesecake, the best cheesecake, hands down.
Oh,
for
you
sure.
guys make your own cheesecakes
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. So everything is from
Yeah.
scratch.
Yeah. Well, the ice cream we get it from like Quarthers or
Oh, okay.
Tropical Treats, but the cakes, we make them and everything else. You know what I mean? So initially it was just patty cake. You know, that's what I was doing. But I said, you know what? Throw some ice cream in there. You know, for the kids, the community in the summertime. You know, we get some ice cream going and stuff like that.
Don't you think that's like too much going around? You'd be like, oh, if I have focus on patty, like the cakes will go, like the quality will go down, and then
Yeah,
the
you
ice
know,
cream with the quality. will
You're
go down.
absolutely right, because my focus is really just the food, so the quality of the cakes and the ice cream are not at that level. But you know, we'll work on it. You know what I mean? We're gonna, you know, like I got ideas for it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just me and my mom. So you know, slowly but surely we're getting there.
Is it just you two working at the restaurant?
I mean, we have other workers and stuff like that, but for the most part, you know, it's me and her.
What makes you different from other jerk chicken places, like the patty places?
What we don't do is we don't have our food out in the warmers. You know those warmers when you come in and whatever.
Yeah.
We try to keep our food as fresh as possible.
Okay.
Right? So, you know, there's some wait time, but if you say you want a barbecue chicken or fried chicken, we make it fresh right then and there. You know what I mean? Our jerk chicken is, you know, like no other. You know, even our oxtails and our curry goat is very good, you know? And ours is halal, you know what I mean? We were one of the first to start Jamaican halal. There's some that, you know, have caught the wave and, you know, jumped on. But, you know, we were the first. And for that reason, you know, the community supports us a lot. The Islamic community, they support us a lot. You know, we're active in the community. We're active in the masjids, you know. So we try to, you know, spread the word, spread the love, spread the culture. You know what I mean? You know, there's a verse in the Quran where God says that He made us in different nations so we can get to know one another. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what we're trying to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to, you know, you don't put the food in the warmers. So what do you do with the food if it's like, if you keep it longer than it's supposed to be?
We try to make a batch for the day. You know what I mean? So you ever see those videos when you go to a Jamaican store and they're like, you know, do you have this? And like, when I have that, you know, like they're always out of food.
Yeah.
Because the food, you can't really keep it. You know what I mean? So you make enough, you know, generally for the day. And then once it's done, it's done. You know what I mean? So if you get there late, you're probably out of luck. You know what I'm saying?
So when you guys like do this in the morning, like 10 a.m. or 9 a.m., and then you keep it till sells
All
out?
Done, yeah.
Okay,
That's it.
okay. So how do you keep it warm all the time?
So what we do is we'll cook a batch and then we put it in the fridge. We'll separate it, and then each time an order comes in, we cook it. You know what I mean? So it keeps that fresh and warm.
Is there like a exact quantity that you guys make every day?
Yeah, we make exact quantity. We divvy it out, keep them in sections, and then as the orders come in, we cook it up.
Has it ever happened to you like you made too much, and then you had to like throw it out or?
Yeah,
do
so the
something?
chicken, it happens a lot with the chicken. You know what I mean? But what we try to do is we try to give it away. A lot of times at the end of the night, if you come in at the end of the night and say we got, you know, 4 or 5 extra chicken or stuff like that, I give extra chicken to our customers, you know, just before we're closing. So if you happen to catch us on a day where, you know, there's some extra chicken, you'll get some extra in your plate. Even after that, after we close, I go out and I give out food to, you know, people that are in need of stuff. You know what I mean? Driving around town, it's not hard to find that. So.
Yes. What time do you close? You do close?
We close at 9 o'clock
Alright,
at
so-
our Scarborough location.
So next time I'll be there at 8:30.
Yeah. But like I said, it's a Russian
good.
roulette. You know what I mean? 'Cause you either get lots or there's nothing there. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
that is true. That is very
yeah.
true.
So
Come in the morning for the beef. Come at night for the chicken.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Now you gotta figure it out.
You see, I just. Oh my God! Now everyone's gonna come at 8:30.
That's all right.
Let's get into your business. Okay. When did you know that I'm gonna get into the food industry? Like, I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna spend all the money I have. I'm gonna ask for or take the loan or however you got the finances. I'm gonna start this. Like, how did you know that?
It was the Halal Food Fest. When we were doing the chicken, you know, it was something new for the community. So a lot of people were interested in what we were doing, and there was a big lineup. Well, the number one question was, where's your restaurant? That's what people wanted to know. You know what I mean? Like I said, at the time, I had no intention of opening a restaurant. But seeing how I seen the demand like firsthand, that's what inspired me to go into the food business.
How did you start saying like finance wise? Because I know it takes at least maybe a couple 100,000. It really
No,
depends on the
I
size.
mean back
but
then it wasn't that hard, and you know what? It was just a little bit of guide. You know what I mean? A lot of things just unfolded for me. I started very very small. You know what I mean? Like I literally very very minimal. Whatever was the minimal to get in, that's what I got to get in. You know what I mean? And as we went along, we built. You know, we made money, bought more equipment, made money, bought more equipment. You know?
So from the halal fest to you open your first restaurant, how long was that? Like, do you know the time?
Yes. So the Halal Food Fest was I think in May or June,
Okay.
and I opened my first restaurant in September. That's like five months.
So if someone wanted to start a restaurant, right? Especially like they were at that food fest as well, or at like some other food fest, or they want to get into starting their own, right? Is it what way can they do, especially in like the finance wise, right? Because a lot of people need quite a bit, right? Because I don't know if you took loans, I don't know if you took debt from other people, but this day and age, like it's really difficult to, especially like
Yeah.
start something, especially like food restaurants in there, because there's so many out there. A lot of people don't know if it's worth taking in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or-
You know what? It is very, very difficult. The thing is, this is that I mean, even outside of just food, you have to know your business. Whatever business you're gonna get into, make sure you know your business. Then you would be able to assess the risks better. You get what I'm saying? If you know the demand, you know who your target market is, you know what I mean? If you could fulfill it, those type of things, then you know if it's worth the risk. As far as finances go, you're gonna have to do any and any avenue that you can to get it, you know what I mean? Like my brother helped me out a lot, you know what I'm saying? My wife helped me out tremendously, you know what I mean? So there's always you gotta get it where you get it, you know what I'm saying? Finance is always a part of every business. So you can't get into the business without the finances. So once you got for sure secure the finances, but know your business. Because even if you secure the finances and you don't know your business, you're gonna waste your money. You know what I mean? So do a lot of research. Make sure that if you're selling a product, that there's a demand for your product. You know, yeah, and that's basically it. And always understand that as long as you do your research and you take the risk, the reward is worth the risk. You get what I'm saying? So don't be afraid of taking risks, but it has to be calculated.
Yeah, it's just I got a lot of questions like that, like because they don't know how much it's gonna cost to get into, especially like the food industry as well.
Yeah. Now, like back when I started into it, it's different. Like it was much cheaper. Things are a lot different now, right? So if you find a place, like there's several different ways about going about it. You can find a place that's an existing place and buy out a existing business, right? And that's gonna probably cost you maybe a couple hundred, whatever. You know what I mean? Or you can find a vacant place and make it into a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to find out what you need, like permits and those type of things. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of doing your research, like I was saying about your business, as far as restaurants goes. Or you could find somebody that is struggling and approach them and offer them something and work something out. You know what I mean? Some people, they want to get out of their lease. They don't want to stay there no more, and you could leverage that and take that opportunity.
Yeah, I know a few people that are in the food industry, right? They they're working day and night
Oh,
in that place, like no smile,
Yeah.
nothing. Like I don't know what's actually going on from their side, but I can see like based on how they interact with like one another, like I see like yo, they don't want to be here, they don't want to do this,
Yeah.
but it's like the risk that they had to take a while back,
Right.
right? Because no, I don't know, maybe education didn't played a big huge part back in the day as well. So they had to do something. They're like, yo, they did this. But I think, yeah, there is a lot of opportunities out there that where someone can go and take over the lease or
Right.
be like, yo, I can take this over. I
Right.
can help you run this.
The problem is that generation and this generation is two different things. Like what drives restaurants now is social media. You know what I mean? And that's literally the reason why my restaurant has been able to succeed. Prior to social media, is based upon word of mouth. You know what I mean? Um, providing your direct community. You know what I'm saying? But the cost of living so high, rent so high that just providing for the community alone is not gonna fulfill, your bills and stuff like that. So a lot of the older generations, they have to understand that, social media is where it's at. You have to advertise like that and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's tiring. I'm telling you, I work literally like I get up in the morning, drop my kids to school, and I'm in there till 12, 13, 14 hours, you know, go home. If I can catch them before they go to sleep, I spend maybe 20 minutes, and same thing again, 7 days a week. But it's tiring. But, in this, for me, I'm trying to, build a foundation for my kids, you know what I mean? So that, they have something, you know what I mean, that they could do whatever with when they get older. Yeah, so that's my motivation. That's my goal. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, they're old. Their kids are older now. You know what I mean? So they don't have that same motivation that I got. So they're tired, and I know I'll probably get there one day too myself.
Is that your biggest challenge? That you can't see your kids as much?
Yes, definitely, definitely. I was just talking to my wife today about it. Definitely, it is.
Now I feel bad for keeping you so late.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're here now, so.
Man,
And I mean, like, this is all for furthering the business, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll try my best on my side to
I
help.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So how you were talking about the community and how you're doing it and how social media. Yeah, I reached out because one of my friends, he's like, reach out to this person. He'll be great. He's a great person, right? And I think he knows about your story as well. And he
Yes.
tried his food, so I'm like, why not? Reached out.
I
And
appreciate it,
and
man.
I see someone sitting here right in front of me. So
The social media thing is more crazier than you think, cause like for me, I'm not only big, but the people that I've worked with, they have a lot of followers, so I've able to benefit from that. You know what I mean? Like Golden Gully.
yeah, I
You know
was
what I
gonna
mean?
ask you about that experience.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is that all of these guys, the reason why they work with me is because they've been coming to my restaurant before Patty Cake. They've been coming since Roses. They've been coming before they've actually been doing these food things. You know what I mean? So when they started to do the food things, they had me in mind because they've been coming to the restaurant and they like the food. You know what I mean? So one of the first videos Golden Gully did was at Rose's Halal Kitchen with Aki and Saltfish, and he was with my mom. Him and my mom were really cool together. I didn't even meet him at the time, and then his platform started to grow, and we moved to Patty Cake and Ice Cream. And he reached out to me one time, and he's like, I worked with your mom at Rose's. I want to do some videos and stuff. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I had no idea, like, what the level of his following is or whatever. He came through, and he's a great guy. You know, he's such a very humble, nice guy. You know what I mean? And my mom loves him, so he just keeps on coming back. You know what I mean? We keep on doing videos, and my wife's family, they're always like, how is he? They want to know everything, every little detail. You know what I mean? And that's when I realized, the magnitude of who this guy is. I mean, listen, the guy's he's a real humble guy. You know what I mean? Just like everybody else, but he's good at what he does. So
He really wants to make an impact on the
yeah,
community
yeah, he's
and
doing
then
his
give
thing.
him back as much as he can.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe one day I'll have him. And if you're watching, please. Let's say you started, you're back at ground zero, nothing, right? You have nothing to your name, nothing. You gotta start a food business again, right? Or get wherever you are right now. How would you do it?
I'll do it the same way I did it. It was, the plan how I did it just fell together. A lot of people don't understand that they need to take advantage of street events. So cause it's cheap, you know what I mean, and you can make a good money off of it, and you can get your name out there. So Taste of Lawrence, Taste of the Danforth, any of these events. And throughout the summer in Toronto, there's lots of them. I mean, you could even start your own. You know what I mean? Street events is the best way I would suggest. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what you're making, obviously, but you know what I mean. It's very cheap, and you can do pop up shops. You know what I mean? And this is like a key I'm giving your viewers here. You know what I mean? Like if you're really serious about starting from ground zero and you have bare minimum, street events.
So like street events,
Yeah.
like
That's
a
the best.
valuable
That's
key.
the best way to do it. You know, and people they love to come out to those gatherings. You know what I mean? Like when you're at a street events, people they just come out and you benefit from it because you have thousands of people looking at. Even if they don't buy it, they're gonna see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love going out because I get to see like different type of cuisines as
Right.
well. Because right now I only know certain types because
Right.
it's only a certain area I'm in, right?
Right.
So I only go to maybe like the McDonald's or like maybe there's like 1-2 local restaurants, right?
Mm.
But if I go to those events, I get to see like a totally different stuff,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So that's why I love going out there, right? See all these different samosa for another
Right,
place.
right.
Get like a taco for another
Right,
place,
right,
right?
right,
You know,
right.
get all these different
Right. Yeah.
type
So
of things. Do you ever think of like collabing with like another restaurant as well and making like a fusion of a food?
you know it's interesting you brought that up. Another one of my customers has suggested that. You know what I mean? And I've had ideas. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. You know, I had a friend that had a Somali restaurant, and I was thinking of doing a fusion with him. You know, my wife she's Pakistani, so I was probably thinking of doing a Jamaican Pakistani fusion. I have a good friend that has a restaurant called Fuego's Kitchen. You know what I mean? He does like pasta and stuff. Very good food. You know what I mean? So I was thinking of doing a collab with him.
Oh, pasta filled
Yeah.
patty,
Yeah. Or some jerk pasta or something.
jerk pasta
Yeah,
patties.
Yeah, who knows? But we'll see what happens in the future.
I seen that you did a podcast with someone else, right? And the topic of friends came up,
Mhm.
right? Did something happen in your past that made you alter your decision of having friends by your side, or is it just like the friends that you had weren't that good, and like there's more friends out there that will help me?
So, my concept on friends. All right. So we'll get a little deep here. So I have an uncle that's basically like my father. He raised me. You know what I mean? And he would always push like not to focus on friends. You know what I mean? And I grew up in a neighborhood in Scarborough. You know what I mean? Friends are like your everything. You know what I mean? Like your neighborhood's your neighborhood. You know? And I grew up, in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my share of troubles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you grow up in a certain lifestyle, the value that you put on friends is, I think, a little unwarranted. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times, your friends are who you are. My mother would always tell me, "Show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are."
Yeah,
That's her saying, along with if you don't hear, you'll feel. You know what I mean?
the saying like if you hang around 3 friends, you're just like them.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if you're 3 billionaires, you'll be the
Right,
4th.
exactly. And my mom would always tell me that. Show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are. So you have to be very careful of your friends that you pick. But when you're young, you don't pick your friends. Your friends are who you grew up with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And a lot of times, people they go in different directions. You get what I'm saying? But those are your friends. You know what I mean? And if you're not focused on your direction, you're gonna go their direction. You know what I'm saying? And in this business, now that that I'm a business owner, I understand the value of friends and what friends really mean. You know what I mean? Growing up with somebody makes you a friend, but that doesn't make you like. What I was trying to say is that brotherhood is more important. The quote that I gave, instead of finding friends, find brothers that you guys have the same mission and work towards it. You know what I mean? Friends come and go. You know what I'm saying? The people that you keep around you, make sure that you guys have the same mindset. That's what I was trying to really get at, as opposed to just being with somebody because you guys play basketball together, or you know, you guys like the same music or the same girls or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like meeting up with like 100 people, but then you only mingle with like 3.
Right.
It's like, why mingle with 3 when you know all the other 97,
Right.
right? It's because their mission and your mission like aligns,
Exactly.
right? Where you want to be and where they want to be.
It's the same thing. And when you have 2 people going towards the same goal, it's easier.
What's your plan for like the next 5 years?
It's a good one. So we're trying to solidify our brand, this patty cake and ice cream brand, and open back up my other restaurant, Rose's Halal Kitchen. But what we want is more like a sit down, you know, like, you know, you can bring your family and, you know, so that's what we're trying to work towards in the next 5 years. But you know, we have our plan. See how it goes.
Is that gonna be separate from your patty cake and
Yeah.
Rosa, or
Yeah.
okay, so like
Yeah.
totally different cuisine or something?
No, it's
like
definitely
that?
the same cuisine. Our cuisine will always be like a Jamaican halal touch to it, you know what I mean? Because that's what I know, you know what I mean? So, but at patty cake and ice cream, we kind of more westernize it, you know what I mean? So the stuffed patties, like you said, that's not unique to Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure it's probably down there somewhere, but that's not how patties are presented, you know? They're just presented as patties.
Yes,
You know
patties.
what I mean? Yeah. So like the jerk chicken poutine, that's more of a, you know, Western twist and stuff like that. When we open a Rosa, we want more of a authentic Jamaican style, you know what I mean? So we'll do like snapper fish, oxtail, ackee and
Yeah,
saltfish.
my mouth is getting watery, bro.
Yeah, you
But
know?
after this, just go straight to your show. Yo, can I just get can I get one of
Yeah.
everything? Eh?
Yeah, you know. The good thing is, you know, people, they really like the food, I must say, you know what I mean? So the feedback is very good, you know? And yeah, you know, it's my mom, she does her thing, so.
When you started this business, right? Was it like a do or die situation? Like you had to do it, or if you didn't do it, you would be doing something else?
When I had this business, before I had this business, I just had my first child, my daughter, and I had no direction where I was going at that time. So it was I felt like I was in a do or die situation at the time. But what happened is that this restaurant presented itself to me, like literally, and I've been, you know, like, don't get it wrong, like there's times where I feel like, you know, should I have done something else, you know what I mean? But that happens, you know what I mean? I get focused and, you know, get back up and get at it. But yeah, I felt like it was do or die. There comes a point in time in a man's life where, you know, you have to make a decision, you know what I mean? Especially when you have a family, you know, you got to provide for them and stuff like that. So yeah, but once the restaurant came, it gave me some ease, you know what I mean? It felt like I had purpose, you know? People, they appreciate what we do for the community.
Yeah, you took a big risk, right?
Yeah.
Especially you got your firstborn. Right now you have to take care of her. And then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yo, I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna get into this. What made you even go into that, go to that event, the Halal Fest?
Oh, that's a good question. So prior to that, I went to another event, right, called the Islamic Revival, the RIS or something like that. I keep on mixing up, but they have this event every year at the Toronto Convention Center, right? And it's always around Christmas time, right? So what happened is at the time, I was trying to, you know, encourage my mother to learn about Islam. So I had brought her to this event. Me and my wife, we brought my mother to this event. And at that event, they have, like, you know, they sell food and stuff, you know what I mean? You know, they got samosas and biryani and stuff like that. And there was a booth for jerk chicken, you know what I mean? So my wife, you know, she's Pakistani. She doesn't really know the rules. So she decided she wanted to get some jerk chicken. But any Jamaican knows that if you're going to get jerk chicken, you better get it from a Jamaican, you know what I mean? If it's not a Jamaican cooking it, most Jamaicans are not going to eat it, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a Jamaican cooking it, so I didn't eat it. But my wife, she tried it, and it was disgusting. I mean, like, and I felt, it was so weird, I felt embarrassed, you know what I mean? I felt embarrassed that this is what people are going to think is jerk chicken, you know what I mean? That's what motivated me to do Because my wife was like, my mom, she's like, mommy, you should make jerk chicken so that they could get real jerk chicken. And I was like, all right, the next whatever halal food fest that comes up, I didn't even know it was the halal food fest, but whatever food fest that comes up next, I'm just gonna, put it together and provide the community with jerk chicken. And that's what got us to the halal food fest. But when we were there and the demand for the restaurant came, is when my mind kind of switched, into business mode.
So you didn't have it in your mind when you were at the fest. You were just like, yo, I just want to give Jamaican food.
Right.
I want everyone to, this is
the
Jamaican
real
food.
thing. Exactly.
This is Jamaican food.
Right.
Okay, eat this. Okay, don't eat anywhere else. Just eat this.
Exactly. And then, that was it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it was weird, but it was a feel of embarrassment. You know what I mean? That this is what they represent. And I was like, all right,
I get that. Well, when I'm eating like a kotroti, I don't know if you know do you know what kotroti is?
No.
So it's like roti, like roti, and then you chop it up, right? And then add the get the goat curry in there, put it all together, and then I can see like when I taste it, I'm like, bro, this is just so plain. It has to be crazy on the gravy side, has to be spicy. That's how you gotta eat this. Not like what is it? Just plain roti with them, and then like barely any the gravy sauce from the goat curry. I'm like, what is this, bro? Like, why would I eat this? But yeah, I understand why it's kind of disappointing, because a lot of roll places I went is just all like I asked for a goat roll, and they'll give just full potatoes, like two chunks of goat. Man. I'm like, why spend at least $1.50 on this, and this is what I'm eating? I'm like, no way. So from that event, and then do you know when it clicked into your mind? It's like, yo, I had to go into start. I just started right away, like put in the plans, get the finances ready, get the plans ready, research everything.
Listen, as soon as that event was over, what I would do is I drive up and down Lawrence, just looking for vacant places. Like literally, like you know what I mean, like, and even the place that I got, it wasn't even vacant. I went into a plaza. I seen the landlord's number on the thing. I called him. I'm like, yo, do you have any spots available? There was none. But he told me that there was a guy that was old, and he's about to get out the business. You know what I mean? And that's how I found the spot. But and this is after several days of just driving up and down Lawrence in Scarborough, just looking for vacant spots. And I don't know why I only picked Lawrence, but for whatever reason, I only drove up and down Lawrence. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's how it came about, After that, after I found the spot, I got together the first and last and the deposit, you know what I mean? And then my brother helped me out with that, and we got that. I had, literally, because, we come from, like a poor upbringing, we do a lot with a little, you know what I mean? And that's what I did, you know what I'm saying? So we had bare minimum back there in the kitchen. One table. I had like a drum, you know what I mean? The same thing that if you've seen the video I did with Golden Gully. That's how I cooked the chicken.
You cooked the chicken like that?
No, you know
no stove, no grill, nothing?
Nothing.
Just
charcoal and that.
Just the barrel.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I had a little pot, and we made rice and, some gravy and stuff. And every little money that I got, I'd buy another table. Then I bought a stove, gas, you know what I'm saying? People don't know that, you know what I mean? But that's how we started.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then we grew, you know what I mean? It was the will of God, and, we grew bigger and bigger, and I started adding more things to the rest, to the menu. You know what I mean? Anybody that knows at first, it was probably like just jerk chicken, fried chicken, and that was it, you know what I mean?
How was the sales in the beginning when you
It was rough. But because I had my mother, it's not like I had employees, so that saved me. Like my mom really saved me, because it was just me and her, and we put in the hours. As long as we could take care of our rent and our bills, that's all that mattered, Yeah.
Holy cow. I still can't get it that you started with a drum, right? Cut that open, put it. Oh my God, started making jerk chicken in there. Wow. I want to try that one. Get a random dough, just cut it open. Yeah. Does it taste different, or is it like similar taste from like a ground?
No, it's definitely different. So the drum taste is so the history of it basically is like jerk chicken. If you know the history of it in Jamaica, like way back, the slaves would make it, and they would make it in the ground and cover it with pimento leaves, so that it doesn't smell, like, they don't know what you're doing and stuff like that. So they would make it in the ground with charcoal and stuff like that. Those drums that you see, they come off of boats. They get discarded. They're like laying around. So, obviously, once again, you make the most of little. So what they would do is they would get these drums, cut them open, wash them out, make a grill, get some charcoal, and that's how they start cooking. So, and then it became a culture. You know what I mean? Now, even when you have a stove, you're still using the drum. But the point is that the smoke and the charcoal is what cooks it, and it gives it a total different flavor and taste as opposed to, a gas stove or oven or something like that. A lot of our recipes that we have today come from, slavery times and stuff like that. So, the method of cooking or even just the actual meat that we use, like oxtail, those are parts that were discarded. You know what I mean? Like they threw it away. That's how we got them. You know what I'm saying? Because they wouldn't eat that part, and now it's costing $14 a pound.
Now it's amazing to eat.
Yeah.
Delicious.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Let's say if someone was doubting themselves and to get into the food industry, and if you provide them any advice or anything that you could say to help them push to the goal and starting.
I guess it'll be a few things. If you're gonna get into the food industry, first things first is quality. Whatever it is whatever cuisine that you're selling, make sure that it's quality. And don't lie to yourself. Make sure that you have opinions of people that you trust. You know what I mean? The other thing I would do is know who you're selling to. Know your customer. You know what I mean? When you're in business, that's very important. Know your customers, who your target market is, so that you can cater to them. You get what I'm saying? Also, I would always work on communication skills. You know what I mean? Because I tell my mom, there's places that don't have as good food as us, but they sell. You know what I mean? So it's not always about the quality. People want to know that, that they feel special. Everybody wants to feel special. You know what I'm saying?
The reel that I seen, that they'll go to the most rundown store there, but then they'll make the best food.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? That's how it is. I seen that one too, the Scarborough spot one. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? You gotta make people feel welcome and stuff like that. And if you're in the food business, you have to understand that people have to eat to survive. So your business is an essential. You know what I mean? You just gotta make them want your food, because people have to eat. You know what I'm saying? So just work on that.
Thank you. Okay, this is my last question. Okay?
Go for it.
Because you're going more in food industry for that question. Okay, let's say no one watched this podcast at all. Okay, they skip to the very, very end. Okay, what advice do you have for them?
I would say, be patient. You know what I mean? And also understand that not just in the food industry, but in general, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You know what I mean? So, like how I started, like I told you with the one drum and stuff like that, that's not where we're at today. You know what I mean? So, be patient and always stay focused. To be to be doubtful is natural. You know what I mean? You're always gonna second guess and stuff like that, but only allow it to last for a moment. You gotta stay focused, shake that out, get back up, and you know what I mean? You have to be dead serious about what you want. If you're not 100% like living it, like I mean from your toe to your top of your head, don't get into it. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not literally living it, you know what I mean? If you're thinking about this as a money thing, don't get into it, because you're not gonna see money for a while, and it's gonna be a deterrent. You're gonna waste your time. If you think that, I'm gonna do it 6 months from now, nah, it's not like that. You know what I mean? This is a long haul. But if you stick it out for the long haul, your brand will be established. You know what I mean? It's like McDonald's. The name McDonald's has nothing to do with burgers. But when you hear McDonald's, you automatically think of burgers. It's because they made their brand synonymous with burgers. You know what I mean? And McDonald's is just a last name. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so you gotta love what you gotta do.
Yeah,
for
just
sure.
110% every single day.
Yeah, you have to. And you have to be able to do that without looking for people to pat you on the back or reward you. You know what I mean? You have to understand that. If you ain't got that in you, this is not for you.
Where can they find you?
So I'm at Patty Cake and Ice Cream, 2602 Eglinton Avenue East, or I'm at our second location. That's at 545 Kill Street. We just opened up a location about 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So if you're in the west end of the city and it's hard to come out to Scarborough, come check us out at 545 Kill Street. Patty Cake _ Ice Cream. Yeah. That's our Instagram, and it's Patty Cake Toronto on TikTok. And I mean, if you have any questions, if somebody's trying to start a business and they want some advice or anything, feel free to reach out to me there. You can hit me up on Instagram or whatever, and I'm always willing to help anybody that's trying to get into the business, whatever I can do, for sure.
That's incredible. Thank you for being a part of the show.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for reaching out to me, man.
No problem.
You got a good thing here.